Hello, Bucks fans. This is Real Bucks Talk back again with another video. And today I want to get into this matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. As you see there, it's going to be Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And man, I think this is going to be a really good matchup on both sides. It's going to be, obviously a tough opponent for the Buccaneers to come away with victory. But let's look into it and let's break down some just keys and matchups that we'll keep an eye out for on Sunday. But there you have it. Buccaneers again at Vikings. ESPN thinks Vikings are going to run away with this one, as most national media expects. And just looking at the injury report, uh, Kalijah Cansey did practice today in full. It looks like everyone else on this list did practice as well. As you see here, J.C. Allen reporting that Kalijah Cansey was in pads and practicing. So there's a potential possibility that he plays on Sunday, which would be awesome. Probably on a limited snap count, but to have him out there definitely will be interesting to see if he can make some kind of impact in the game. Um, and as far as the Minnesota's pretty healthy, no injured players. Um, and let's take a look at the Minnesota depth chart here. So offensively, I think that is their strength. They're definitely an offensive team. You look at the games they won last year, they scored a lot of points, a lot of comebacks in those games. And defensively, they weren't very good, but we'll get into that in a second and talk about the changes they made on that side of the ball. But quarterback, Kirk Cousins, really, consistent QB. Then you have Alexander Mattinson, who is stepping into a starting role full time for the first time this year. So that'll be intriguing to see how he handles that. Obviously, he started in the past before with Dalvin Cook getting injured and is a very solid running back. So Buccaneers are going to have to key in on him that matchup to make sure he's not the one beating them, setting up, those play action passes and getting consistent rushing yards against the Bucs defense. So going to have to shut him down. And then receivers, obviously it starts with Justin Jefferson. We talked about him yesterday in our video. Go check that out. It's up on the channel. So you have Jefferson, Jordan Addison's the new draft pick they've added. And then KJ Osborne is solid and has playmaking ability. So it's going to be tough. Again, they present a lot of good receiving options. And then you get to their tight end room, and TJ Hawkinson is no slouch. So they have a formidable skill position players along with a good quarterback. And then, offensive line, I think this is where the Buccaneers have to win up front, especially with the Bucs front seven. They have to find ways to get interior pressure, especially against Cleveland, Bradbury, and Ingram. Brian O'Neill is a very solid right tackle. Christian Darrisaw, probably more so a better run blocker than he is in pass protection. So the Bucs have to find ways to get these guys moving, get them out of their spots, so they can create pressure on Kirk Cousins. That's going to be something to watch. Can the Buccaneers force pressure on Cousins and make him, throw into mistakes potentially? And also, can they, limit the Vikings ground game? Can they control that area and make them one dimensional? And then on defense, you look at the additions they've made. Dean Lowry, free agent addition. They've added him. They've added Marcus Davenport, Brian Murphy Jr. So it's completely different. Different linebackers. They don't have Eric Kendricks anymore, but they've changed schemes. They're more. It's going to be a more aggressive scheme, 3-4 looks with a lot of exotic blitzes coming from all different angles. Very similar to what Todd Bowles likes to run. So he they put a lot of pressure on their secondary to match up in man coverage. So it'll be interesting. And can the Buccaneers, first of all, run the football effectively, but also can they find ways to give Baker Mayfield enough time to win against the man coverage that the Vikings are going to present? Because obviously Mike Evans and Chris Godwin against the Vikings secondary, you have to like that matchup. But it's going to come down to obviously the offensive line. And this can be the keys for both sides, really. So it's going to be intriguing. Um, And definitely, the Vikings defense is going to try to get in the face of Baker Mayfield and try to force him into mistakes. That's the name of the game. But yeah, just looking at, their defense offensively, I think, they have a really good offense. Last year they were 8th in points scored. So they know how to move the football, and Kevin O'Connell definitely just has a great scheme, knows how to call it up. So it's going to be a challenge, especially on that side of the ball. And then looking at the addition, this is the Vikings' new defense coordinator, Brian Flores. So this is where I think, Mark and I would agree that even though, Brian Flores is a really good coach, has a great scheme, it's all new for these Vikings players. So with a new defense and new scheme, that takes time to develop chemistry. So, will there be mistakes made by the Vikings players, allowing Buccaneers to exploit some opportunities that maybe themselves in the game on Sunday? So, that's something to look for in the game, and see how well or how tightly knit everything is for the Vikings defense as far as coverage and run gaps and all those things. So, that'll be intriguing. But Brian Flores bringing a new aggressive defense, that will be something to look for. And then as far as like storylines and matchups, obviously Justin Jefferson, he's going to be the main focus for the Buccaneers defense. And I know this says versus Jamel Dean. It's not just going to be Jamel Dean, it's going to be pretty much the entire secondary is going to have to work together. The secondary and the linebackers are going to all have to be on the same page and understand where this guy is at all times. And then a video that we have coming out, we're going to talk about this probably tomorrow. Danielle Hunter, he is a great pass rusher. He just knows how to get after the quarterback. So that's going to be a very important matchup for the Buccaneers offensive line, whether it's Tristan Wirfs or Luke Gedeke. Got your hands full there with Hunter. So the Buccaneers have to make sure they're focused in on that and have built-in protections to help out when needed. So we'll have much more on that. In a video tomorrow. So look forward for that. Vita Vea versus the interior offense line of the Vikings. I think that's where I think the Buccaneers have an edge, and we'll see what they dial up against that Vikings offensive line. But Vita Vea is going to be key. And then also he puts Scott Smith of Buccaneers.com puts in Rashad White versus the Buccaneers linebackers. So yeah, I think that will be, definitely something to look for. All great storylines. Bottom line, the Buccaneers, I think, just have to play smart in this one. Whoever can protect the football better and who can run the ball effectively, I think will have great chance of winning this game. But it should be a good one. Really looking forward to it. Let us know what your guys' thoughts is on this matchup. What do you see? What do you see as the keys to this game? But please let us know, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts. And with all that said, until the next one.